Okay, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. I hope you can hear me. This is April Wagner, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our Fast Start program tonight. Little training on that. I want to talk a little bit about mindset and the mindset behind inviting to the launch. Just think about it. Are you all in? Is this, are you doing this halfway, or are you doing this all the way in? So I want to show you some examples tonight on why you may not be serving the person that you're introducing the products to or the business the best. And I hope that comes across. But you think about who needs this opportunity. Do you realize that the average income these days is only $55,000 for a dual household? I mean, it's really, something hard for a lot of people to relate to, but that's where it is. Do you know that less than 2.7% of people make over 250,000? So big range there. And you think about some of the earnings that are going on in LifeVantage, and you see the income chart and what's going on. So, those are two figures I want you to hold on to. If you haven't gotten a piece of paper and a pen, I want you to write some things down, because I think I might have a little bit of an angle for you to think about how not to play this as such, small ball, for lack of a better word, but for you to be able to best serve the person that you're introducing the products to, or, even more importantly, the opportunity, because the more people that you have building with you, obviously, the faster it's going to go. But just some reminders, again, Wednesday night, we have the launch Zoom, 8:30 p.m. East Coast time, and that's in our training group. Again, the invite doesn't take long. We all have all the scripts, and whether you're on Tuesday Power Hour or not, even if you're working the max amount of hours, everybody's got a break here or there. I mean, if you had a 15-minute break, you could easily get out 3 invites. I mean, there's no reason for everyone to be competing and getting as many invites out, as they personally want. So that's Wednesday night at 8:30. Keep in mind, April 16th, this Saturday, is our LBA. Make sure you're registered. Really important. I know this is going to be great and on a whole nother level for a lot of people. We really need to get back out among people again, and the few events we've had have been just great. So, June 17th through the 19th is Activate 2022. Out in Salt Lake. So you definitely want to make sure you're registered for that. They have a limited number of tickets. We're okay so far, but again, we do have a limited number of tickets. Vision Summit is even tighter, very tight. If you are going out to Utah, you want to make sure that you are registered for that. If you don't know how to do it, where the link is, they're really just asking for you to pay for your lunch and breakfast. I think it is. It's really inexpensive, but make sure you reach out to Bobby if you don't have that link to be able to get to that. And then even further out in October is the global, which is October 20 and 22nd. So again, not too early to be able to think 6 months out. You need to be making plans. And if you make plans to be there, you'll be there. If you don't make plans, you won't go. But again, I want to get back to mindset tonight. And I want you to think about this from, whether you play this game very conservatively, you play it on the low side, or, do you jump all in? And the people that jump all in have better results. And I'm going to go through a few different examples of that and why, this is the attitude, this is the mindset that you need to take with people. And it really starts back to the package you started with. I think back to when Bobby and I got involved in the industry. Our very first meeting, we sat there, we had not used the products, and actually it was a water filter, so we wouldn't have used it. But we did $5,000 that night to get involved in business to earn money, because we saw money there. We only went, and it's kind of a long story, and I'm not going to spend the whole time, but that very next day I went to speak to my accountant, and he let us know about the company that we ultimately landed with. Bobby and I went back and forth for a whole weekend. Bobby wanted to do the water filters, but this other company had weight loss and energy. And I just had our second baby. So, to me, that was a much better fit. If I was going to help with anything, that's something I could get excited about. We spent another $5,000 that same weekend. Money we absolutely did not have, because remember, if you've heard our story before, Bobby was losing his company. So instead of living on 2 incomes, which we were fully living on both incomes, we only had one at that point. And so that was, we lost 50% of our money, our income that easily. So, we did not have the savings or anything to be spending that because that company had slid back and back a little at a time. But, we knew what we had to do to get in a position to earn money. So again, think about the package you started with. Did you start all in at $9.99 or did you start in at $2.99? And I know for some people that's a stretch, but if you talk to people about the money that can be made, not the benefits of the products, not the ingredients of the products, but if you're talking more about the money they can earn, if that's the path they're going to go down, they really should do the $9.99. I mean, there shouldn't be any question in it. It's just a matter of, are they unsure? Do they not have, the self-confidence? Are they going to piddle? Or do they want to make big money? And so as I go through some of this, I hope you can see a little bit bigger picture, because this makes a big difference. And it doesn't matter if we're talking products, and it doesn't matter if we're talking opportunity, how you present the offer, whatever the offer is, whether it is product or it is, opportunity. Always want to start with the largest package, always. And the simple example is, if I start with $2.99, and you think that's a lot, and then I go to $9.99, I'm out. But if I go to $9.99 and you think that's a lot, $2.99 is okay. So always offer the best, the tri-synergizer first, then do the dual with the NRF2 and the NRF1, and then do the NRF2 if you need to. But don't do it the other way around. Don't start it small and go big for the same example that, if you start small and they think that's big, you've got nowhere to go. So you always want to start much bigger. But you know what, regardless of where you started, you got started. And so many people don't even make a decision, can't make a decision. Those of you that listen to Michael Burnoff, you know the world is full of people out there that can't make a decision for themselves. So you got started, you're on the right track. But what I want you to think about too is our auto ships. A lot of times people have trouble with, what they're going to be on for an auto ship. And if you hear some people, they'll say it's 40 points. Others, it's 200 points. Well, 200 points gets us fully qualified for any earnings. So we definitely need to be on an auto ship, but if you're only on for the 40 points, you've got to make up the other 160 with customers. You've got to be sure that that's there to make sure that you've got your 200 points. What if you were just sure that you were going to be the 200 points? And, it goes something like this. If you are on auto ship for only $40, and let's say you take 3 people who take another 3, that's 9, who take another 3, that's 27. So 39 people, okay, who are on auto ship in your organization, 39 people that are on your auto ship in your organization, that's only at 40 points, that's only 1,560 points. Well, where does that fall in our comp plan? Is that not even a Pro 2? But let's say we talk to everybody about believing that they're going to earn money, that they're going to build this much faster, and we get everybody to do 200 points. That's everybody's absolute minimum. So now we start talking 200 points. And I can tell you something, we have it going on in our company. Our company is starting to hit momentum. The promotion that they did with the bronze, the silver, the MPB, you can see people are really reaching for that because they don't want their name not on that list. It has nothing really to do with the money. It has to do with recognition. That's what people want. They don't want to absolutely not have their name on the list. So we're starting to see momentum because people really want to be building. They don't want to be left behind. But if we take a $200 auto ship, and again, we add 3 people times 9 times, 300.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Sorry, my watch is going. So if we take 3 people and then they each get 3, we get 9, and those get another 3, it's 27. So 27 people who each do a $200 auto ship, that's 39 people again, but the volume, the points in that business are 7,800 points, which is almost, it's between a Pro 3 and a Pro 4. So we're more than halfway there at that point. So think about it, when you're building your business, do you want to speak to somebody as they're signing up to say you have to only do a minimum of 40, or do you want to speak to them about doing 200 to be fully paid commissional? And I can tell you, Bobby and I spend a lot of time, particularly Bobby. Bobby's really good at this, and you all should thank him because every month, every week, as people have new orders coming in, he spends a lot of time making sure that you all don't miss getting paid. You gotta be on auto ship. I mean, we just don't want you to miss. I don't care if it's $16 on a bottle of NRF2. We want to make sure that you get paid everything you want. The other side of it is we've never had enough product. We are always seem to be, missing or not having enough product because we expect to use it all. We expect to give it away when necessary. We want to have product when we need to. We have a story that goes back, and again, different company, different comp plan, so don't get the two confused. Different comp plan. Our old company, we bought product at a discount, then we turned around and we sold it, and that's when we made our money. Here, you make your money when your customer buys the product, so totally different. But we had a tax year where we were going to either have to give the government this money, or we could offset it by buying product. And this will scare you, but we actually bought almost $100,000 worth of product one year because, again, it was pay the government, or it was just, we could have it in our closet and use it. And if you know me, that drove me nuts to have that much product in the closet. And I was going to recap that money. So I sold it. So when you have inventory, when you have product, it's on your mind to be able to go out and talk to people about the opportunity to, if I have a customer that I just had one before, she isn't sure she's going to get her auto ship. She may run out of product. Well, I want to make sure that she has her product, or if it gets lost in the mail and they're local, I'm going to run that product over to them. We are in business. We need to have some product. It's not like a traditional business. We don't have to have a lot. But another example is we did a pop-up, I don't know what you want to call it, Saturday. It was kind of a little bit of a fiasco, although we did talk to people and we got some leads out of it. But what if we didn't have product? I mean, that came down kind of quick all of a sudden, but at least we had product that we could pull from our closet that, we could bring with us should we found somebody worthy of, wanting to sell it to them or give it to them or whatever. You have to have some product. I always kind of wish and don't wish, but what if all of a sudden there was no NRF2, company was back ordered, didn't have it? Our first company, we had a scarcity mentality. We used to stockpile that product because the company would ship and then not ship and ship and not ship. And, we were able to just sell to our customers. So we had that scarcity mentality. But, think about yourself. If all of a sudden they're out of product for a week, we've never had a back order, but let's say we do have a back order or something, are you going to want to, or are you willing to go off NRF2 because that product isn't there? I mean, again, we just have to have product to be in business. I always think that, we're kind of like doing things, halfway kind of, you wouldn't half raise your kids. You wouldn't, guys, when you were dating women, you didn't half date them, you were, all in, very intense and stuff, even sex, you're all in, right? So, why do we make the least of calls and invites and starting packages, and we look for the least thing to do, the easiest thing to do, the minimum thing to do. But you know what, again, this launch invite, you've all got the scripts, so you don't even have to wait till tomorrow night, when we do the power hour. You've got the scripts, you should be on, inviting people and being excited about this. And what a powerful business this is. Think about who wouldn't want these products? And that's the enthusiasm you have to have. If you need to get up and run around and I usually tell people, whatever it is to get you excited. Some people can just sit and be excited. Some need to look in a mirror. Some need loud music playing in the background to get them excited. Some just need to walk around the house or whatever. Whatever it is, you need to get yourself up so that your energy is in a positive way so that you can share this opportunity, in a positive way, and plan out how many people you want to talk to. How many do you plan on? You should kind of know the numbers, know your numbers. How many do you have to invite to get this many, on the Zoom? How many will show? And from there, how many will close? If you don't know, start with 10. Get 10 on the call. I'm sure, half of those, if they're good friends and they promise to be on, will be on, and then you'll get some business from that. we map out everything. I mean, if you were to see my board, I mean, even right down to the last point that I need for the trip is absolutely marked out. It's the 1% club. You know, if you're not even competing for that, you probably don't even know what that is, but you know, we have the 1% club. Again, another recognition that goes with it. The number or the minimum number of auto ships that you have going out. Do you know what your base number is? Do you know what it is so that your business doesn't fall back? What about the number for the biggest amount of auto ships that went out? These are all barometers of how well you're building or not building your business. The MVP seller and the MVP bronze, silver, and gold, or again, all things. You know that when we did the 5 and 500, that was awesome. We were all excited, but it was like, how many shares are we going to get in? We need to learn to kind of compete with ourselves. We don't have to put the numbers out there. We don't have to tell everyone, but we need to learn to compete with ourselves. And sometimes we just seem to make this harder. And you know, I'm not one, you know, Bobby's a little bit different. He'll go out there and he'll say he's in network marketing. You know, I'm fond of saying, you know, I'm, you know, a rep for a nutrigenomics company. We flipped the switch on helping people feel like they did when they were much younger with extra energy, focus, and concentration. Does that interest you? So that's kind of my thing. I want to get a response right away. Bobby wants a real response. So it doesn't matter, but you got to get comfortable with this because you never know when somebody's going to come up to you and say online or even in person, what do you do for a living? That's not a really weird question. If you go to any party, if you sit down and get your hair done, if you, anything you do, somebody could turn around and say, hey, what do you do for a living? I mean, so we need to be prepared for this, but you know what? You need to stay focused on helping the people you're talking to. It's not about you. It's all about them. You know, what is what is it they want? What are their needs? You know, we have to stay focused on them and their wins and their goals, whatever it is that they want to talk about with you, because that's what's going to make the relationship. This is a relationship business. This is not like a, you know, throw it up against the wall and see what sticks. This industry has changed, and that all that stuff gave our industry a really bad name. But you know what? When you look at people that are very successful in business, there is not another business out there. If they had to start all over again with no money, you hear all the big names, they would be in this industry, because if you treat it like a business, you can really make some really good money with it, and you can do it quickly, but you can't play it as small ball. You got to start to talk about a bigger vision for what's going on. You know, do you make calls when you need to? Or when you want to? You know, I have my planner every day, and I know exactly, besides, you know, other ways that I follow up with people, some systems and stuff, but I always, every day, my new recruits, there's a list on the board. I know who I need to touch out to with every day, who I'm going to follow up, who's on my hot list, who I need to talk to. You know, I used to do this in you know, when we first got involved in the industry, and I did this out of a need. And maybe you're there, maybe you have more time. When we first got involved in this industry, I was working full time. I also was going through engineering school at night. We had 2 young babies. Busy. We were busy. We were really busy. So kind of maxed out for time. But I found that every day I had to have sheets on my car seat as I was going from job to job or whatever, on how and when I was going to call people. And you need to kind of get that organized, because this isn't a business that takes a lot of time. But if you're not being proactive with the time you have, that time could slip away. You know, we're full time, and sometimes I look and I'm like, how did the day go that fast? I mean, you know, I'm always looking to see where did I waste time? What did I do? You know, so the other flip side is not only making the calls when we need to, but the other thing we need to get over is people's impression of what we're doing. You know, for a number of reasons, and the most is we all are not that important. Nobody is spending all day thinking about us. I promise, if you think about your day, what you thought about you. You did not think all day long about you know, what other people were thinking, or if they were supposed to get back to you with product. You know, if you worry about somebody not getting back to you, as far as because you sent them a video or what, they're just busy. It's our job to follow up with them. No different if you're out and you meet somebody, get their number. Don't give them yours. That has no, that's not a priority to them at this point. That's probably the best way I could say it. It's not a priority for them until they're in building the bigger business. That's where the more priority is. So we need to make it a priority we need to make sure that we collect the phone number, that we collect the email address, that we send the video, that we do the follow-up. That is so, so important that we do that. But again, are you selling to people, or are you caring about them? Are you trying to be interesting? You have people on social media, particularly, they try to be interesting. Nobody really cares about interesting people. They only care about if you are interested in them. That's as simple as it gets these days. The old ways of the why and some of that other stuff, it's all out the window. It's just not there anymore. So, but you know what? I want to challenge you tonight, and we're kind of out of time here, but I want to challenge you. I want you to go back to 5 old conversations. If you'll do me this favor, go back to 5 old conversations and just say, hey, I was thinking of you, realize I never gave you enough attention. I got sidetracked with my business, and then ask them something about what you were talking about and just get the conversation back on track. You'll be surprised. And you can ask them about their kid. I had a lady I just saw, she did some cruise stuff. So I asked her about her cruise. You can get a conversation that has gone crickets, that has gone quiet. I do it time and time again, just by bringing it back and saying, hey, I've been busy, been tied up with some things. Life's been really good. So you were at the park with your kid, or whatever it is, and then, ask them as you're having a conversation, what's not perfect in your life. If that's how the conversation, if they unloaded on you with a whole bunch of stuff, or, I like to say a lot of times, what health concerns do you have now or in the future? A lot of that as people get older, but we need to do a better job of filling up our pipeline, our funnel, whatever you want to call it, and also doing a lot more follow-up, but not the same people. You don't want to keep harping on the same people. Give them some space. Sometimes people have stuff going on. Like I said, we're also fearful of being judged. The people you should worry about most being judged by are the people who love you the most. Probably your spouse, if you've got one, your kids, maybe your parents. Parents can be kind of brutal, but those people that you have to go down and sit at the kitchen table with, that's who you should worry about being judged. I worry about my kids thinking that, Bobby and I would ever be lazy or, bad habits that that's what matters in life. It's not what these outside people that I may or may not send, these so-called friends that maybe are my friends today and not tomorrow. Get that out of your head. You're in this business to make money for your family. That's what we're doing here. And so their opinion doesn't really count, but it's funny, the longer we're in this, and even with this new company, Bobby and I are seeing, I have friends that are checking in. They're kind of like watching what we're doing. We had one join, I think it was like, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. But we have friends that are just like, you still selling that stuff? Or you still selling those pills? That goes on all the time. But I want you to maximize your schedule. We all have 100, 160, 170 hours per week in our schedule. Do you ever wonder, and I want to leave you with this thought and then I'm done. Do you ever wonder what really successful people do with their time? We have exercise every day. We've got, continuing ed or mental work, whatever we want to call it. We've got our families, we've got a job, how do they maximize the day? Isn't that a wonder how they've been able to accomplish so much in the same amount of times that we have? You think of people like Elon Musk, he's all over the news, or Ray Zuckerman, or, Bill Gates, or, I always loved the Ray Kroc story. That was a cool one years ago. If you haven't looked at the McDonald's story, look that up. But you got to wonder how they did so much with the same amount of time we all have, which just shows us we all have a lot of room to grow to be able to maximize our business. So let's start talking big picture. Let's get rid of this little NRF2 product, just 40 points for the auto ships. And, let's start showing people what a big business it is. And the amount of money that can be made with this business can be serious if we just talk the right thing and stop apologizing for being in a business that is by far the most wonderful business in the world. And you know all the benefits. I don't have to go through all that with time freedom and earn as much as you want and stuff. But thank you so much for your time. I know I went over a little bit, but hopefully that was helpful with you getting a better mindset, particularly as we go into the launch. And I hope you invite a lot of people to that launch. So thanks, everyone. Good night.